What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today we're going to be talking about the NFL Draft. And we're going to talk about one of the most feared things that happen to people like myself that are in the business of making mock drafts, and it really adds excitement to anyone that's neutral watching the draft, and that's your bracket breakers. That's the surprise picks, the teams that might be trading up, that kind of just completely blow up your mock draft. You can have the best mock draft. You can feel like you're addressing every single team's needs to an absolute T, and then 3 picks in, it's completely shot. So what I'm going to do today is break down the top 10 surprise picks, in my opinion, that you may see. So not all these are super crazy. I didn't want to go too far off the beaten path because then it just sounds like, you know, you're Skip Bayless and you're saying stuff just to hear your talk and get the clicks. But without further ado, at number 10, we have my Philadelphia Eagles. And with my Philadelphia Eagles, seems like everyone, myself included, kind of had them pigeonholed. There's 3 positions. You know, they can either go offensive tackle, they can go for a linebacker, they could go, and then you might see some corners, you might see some wide receivers. Now, there's 2 surprise picks for me. When you're the Philadelphia Eagles, they are really in still a best player available. So there's a chance, all the way down there at 32, these 2 legitimate first-round prospects are still there just because, you know, teams' needs had them slipped, and they could always get better at these 2 positions. So I think either A, offensive lineman Will Hernandez from UTEP. Yes, we know my history with UTEP, the UTEP Miners, but you look at Will Hernandez, the offensive guard, he is a clear-cut first-round draft pick. It's just interior offensive linemen don't go really that high. And when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, we could always use another interior guard. I mean, long-term, we have Brandon Brooks, who's an all-pro. But with Wiz, you know, his contract, he's only signed short-term. He has his ups and downs. He's played great down the stretch. I'm actually a really big fan of Wiz. He kind of went viral after he had like a triple block against the Atlanta Falcons. But you could always have more offensive linemen. And Wisniewski, he's like a slide piece. You know, he can play center. He can play guard. He's versatile. Is he a guy that you want to be an outright starter and not bring in competition? Because I don't think Samaan is going to be that guy. So a player like Will Hernandez, if he's best player available, that makes sense for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I wouldn't be upset about that because Will Hernandez is tremendous in the run game. Speaking of the run game, pick B for the Philadelphia Eagles is running back Darius Geis. I think if Darius Geis is sitting here, you might want to take a long look at him because we have Ajay and Corey Clement look like they're our future backfield, but Ajay's only under contract. Next year is his last year of his rookie deal, and when he came into the league, he would have been like a second-round draft pick, but he ended up going what, the 4th or 5th round because he has like a bone-on-bone knee injury. Like the ligaments there are shot, so no one really knows the longevity of his career, and Philadelphia is going to be very, very smart when it comes to contract extension time. Maybe we're not going to want to pay him. And when you look at Corey Clement, even though he's 220 pounds, he kind of has like the view of like this receiving back, the Alvin Kamara type. That's, you know, use him on 3rd downs, use him as a change of pace back. And if they don't view Corey Clement as, you know, the guy that like, all right, we don't need to worry about Ajay. We've got him for a 4th round draft pick for a 2-year rental. Maybe they don't see Corey Clement as that, you know, 3-down starter. And obviously we're not going to get much out of Donnell Pumphrey. So I think Darius Geis, if you're forward thinking, plus now Garrett Blunt's going to be gone, and maybe they want to maintain that 3-headed running back attack. I think Darius Geis, perfect pick. Perfect pick. So while I personally believe that linebacker should be the spot here, don't reach. If they don't like Leighton Vander Esch, don't get him. If they don't like Rashaan Evans, don't get him. Get best player available still at the end of the day, and those are 2 surprise picks for the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to number 9, it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts, who are picking at number 3, and I think the surprise pick here for Mr. Frank Reich could be quarterback. There could be more that I only have it at 9 because it is a little out there because we don't really know what's going on with Andrew Luck, but something about when McDaniels didn't accept it, just said like he thinks that there's something wrong with Luck. And you know, it's one of those things that's probably not going to be talked about. It's not going to be heavily publicized because they're definitely keeping that under wraps. Because I think if Andrew Luck is healthy, he's definitely top 5 potential quarterback. He's the greatest college quarterback I've ever seen, prospect coming up from college. So if he can get better, he's going to be fine. But I think if Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen is still sitting there at the number 3 pick, they could take him. If Andrew Luck is shot, if Andrew Luck's career's done, if they think that, yeah, he might be healthy, but it could, you know, re-aggravate again, and his career's never going to be the same. Colts are a team that, you know, idealistically, they're not picking this high ever again. They're kind of in the Giants mold where they might need to get their quarterback here if the Andrew Luck injury is more serious. So I think that could definitely be something everyone goes, what? They took a what? They got a quarterback? But at 3, there's a chance that both the quarterbacks are gone at 1 and 2, which I think they should be. But it's definitely something to throw out there. Going to number 8, it is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who recently released Doug Martin, who everyone always thought he was going to be the franchise running back. I think they might want to trade up for Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley falls past the Browns, if he falls past the Giants, falls past the Colts, and you got Denver and you got New York. New York's the big name. New York would be the big name, I would think, for trying to get Saquon Barkley. And I think a team like Denver might be in play. If they can go out and land Kirk Cousins, they're definitely going to be one of the big teams that's going to try and land Kirk Cousins. They might want to be trying to trade down to some of these other teams so they can acquire more picks and put more pieces around Kirk Cousins. So I could think, looking at the draft board where the Bucs pick at 7, the Jets pick at 6, I could see if Saquon Barkley's still sitting there after the Browns' 4th round pick, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to get that final piece, they think, of a skill position for Jameis Winston to try to, you got a guy like Mike Evans doesn't want to sign a long-term contract. You bring in someone like Saquon Barkley to the offense. He's going, okay, this is the team showing initiative that we're going to try to actually do something here. I can see that happening. I can see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers loving Saquon Barkley, but not waiting at 7 for him to fall to them. Going to number 7 in my top 10 surprise picks are the Miami Dolphins and its quarterback. My most famous YouTube video of all time is the Miami Dolphins rebuild where they have Lamar Jackson. I have a buddy that's a Dolphins fan. He does not like Ryan Tannehill. I personally don't see anything in Ryan Tannehill. They could go quarterback. So Josh Allen might slip here. I think maybe Lamar Jackson would be awesome because in my video it looked like Illuminati because I called it 2 years in advance. But it's one of those things where you look at Adam Gase, he thinks he's such a football genius. He might think, all right, I'm giving up on the project that is known as Ryan Tannehill. But I see a guy like Lamar Jackson. I think I can develop him. I think I can make him into the next Deshaun Watson. He's going to see what Bill O'Brien's done with Deshaun Watson. He's so cocky. He's so arrogant. He's Chip Kelly 2.0. He thinks that he will be able to install that. So any of the two projects, we throw that in quotations, project, first-round quarterbacks, be it Josh Allen if he slips, or Lamar Jackson, could definitely be in play for the Miami Dolphins if Adam Gase wants to wash his hands dry and clean of the Ryan Tannehill experiment. Moving to pick number 6, it's just a player, a surprise pick. Quinton Nelson goes top 5. When you look at interior offensive linemen, it's incredibly rare that they go top 5. I think over the last couple of years, on average, one gets drafted in the first round. I can't remember the last time, and like Zach Martin, and what did he go in the teens to the Dallas Cowboys? But Quinton Nelson is legitimately, debatably, the best player, pound for pound player in this year's draft class. More so than any of the quarterbacks, more so than Saquon Barkley, more so than Bradley Chubb. I think Quinton Nelson is probably the best offensive line prospect to come along. Yeah, since I've probably been scouting. I mean, Zach Martin was pretty good coming out of Notre Dame, but not as good as Quinton Nelson is, not as hyped. And we all saw what Zach Martin did, first team All-Pros. A rookie, same with like Jack Conklin, had some success with the Tennessee Titans. I think Nelson could very much go top 5. Any of those teams could use him. The Colts could use him. The the Broncos sitting at 5. They might want him if they get their quarterback. Hell, even the Browns could. I mean, Browns probably wouldn't because they invested so much money in their offensive line and free agency. But I think Quinton Nelson could surprise, go top 5. Just because everyone's undervaluing him as an interior offensive lineman, he's still maybe the best player in this draft. And you can use an offensive lineman. Teams just, don't forget about Dallas. That's how Dallas became one of the best teams in the NFL 2 years ago. They had that offensive line. Could be good. Going to number 5 is the Pittsburgh Steelers, picking way down in the late 20s. I think they're picking at 28. They could go running back or quarterback. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, you kind of feel like they have their team. They need to kind of fill in some missing pieces, be it in the secondary, be it at tight end or something like that. They could just think long term. They could, if Darius Geis, maybe Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen is here, they start thinking, okay, Ben Roethlisberger's been on the fence about retiring. Maybe we grab a quarterback at one falls. I don't know if they'd reach for maybe the second tier quarterbacks like Mason Rudolph or something like that. But if Baker Mayfield falls or any of those guys that are legitimate first round caliber quarterbacks, I could see them saying we need our cover. Josh Dobbs is a terrible quarterback. Josh Dobbs is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play in the SEC. He's not the successor to Ben Roethlisberger, but they see a quarterback here, they could grab him. Or the running back with the Le'Veon Bell situation. This is obviously being recorded way in advance, but things could go south real quick with that. And with a guy like Darius Geis, who I feel like might be in that limbo of first, second round, Pittsburgh could just straight up say, screw it. We're going to let Le'Veon Bell go. We're going to trade him or something like that, and we're going to get his replacement here. I mean, James Conner, I like him. I'm pulling for him. I don't know if the Steelers really view him as their successor to Le'Veon Bell or anything like that. So Darius Geis might be too good to pass up. But I think maybe the future, if you will, of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense could be selected here at pick 28. Goal number 4, it's the Cleveland Browns. They could not go quarterback at number 1. It seems like they are going quarterback. Every mock draft, while I'm taking either Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen, or sometimes you see Baker Mayfield, sometimes you see Josh Allen, but everyone just has them going quarterback. But maybe, just maybe, this new regime says, all right, we invested a second-round pick in Kaiser. Let's keep him. He's going to be our quarterback. We have, we can't just give up on him already. And then they look at someone like Saquon Barkley or Bradley Chubb with one of the first pick. I think those guys there are legitimate talents. Hell, they could just surprise the world, do the most Cleveland Brown thing ever, which I think would be smart in terms of a player pick. Definitely not for the first over, and just go Quinton Nelson. They think he's the safest, best prospect in this year's draft class. But that would be my surprise, is the Cleveland Browns Browning things up and not going with the quarterback, not going with the popular pick for their spot. Going to number 3 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I say quarterback. They could maybe be going Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's still sitting there. It's somewhat of a popular pick, but it seems like with Blake Bortles being able to take them in the playoffs and really playing decent times, definitely lots of highs and lows, and probably more lows than highs, but it seems like a lot of people are, they're going to roll with him for another year, and then next year maybe they'll look at quarterback or try to land one in free agency. Maybe Kirk Cousins is still in the play. But I could just straight up see him taking Lamar Jackson. They go, all right, we like what we see in Lamar Jackson. He can execute our offense, or like I said, a Josh Allen if they slip, or a Baker Mayfield if they slip. They're just a surprise team for if one of these quarterbacks starts falling down here, that could definitely go up and grab one. Whereas a lot of people might be already saying, all right, they're going with Bortles. Let's look at other positions. Let's look at tight end. Look at wide receiver. They might have some turnover there. Offensive line could always get better. But hey, quarterback still is in play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't forget about it. Go to number 2 is the New York Giants, and this is kind of like something that I've seen in mock drafts. Almost everyone thinks, now that they have the new regime there in New York with Pat Shurmur, that they're going to get their quarterback. They're going to have a young guy that sit behind Eli Manning this year, and because, the Giants, you're a Giant fan, you don't think you're getting a top 10 pick. You always think that, worst case scenario, you're picking between 10 and 20. Somewhere in that range, always in the playoff hunt. Top 5 pick is unfamiliar territory for the Giants. So, you figure they're getting their quarterback. You figure the new regime already came. That's why Pat Shurmur got hired. He said, yes, we're going to get our quarterback here, our successor to Eli Manning, the future franchise. They could go Saquon Barkley. They could just say, we have terrible running backs. Stark was, they just got bodies. Gallman, I think Gallman might have a little bit upside there. But ultimately, they haven't had a running back forever. This would be probably my favorite pick as an Eagle fan because they don't have the offensive line to even Saquon Barkley wouldn't be able to do anything behind that offensive line. So it kind of would be a little bit of a wasted pick, but I could just see them being the Giants saying, oh, we're going best player available. We're not reaching for our quarterback. We still have Eli. We can wait a couple of years. I don't know what's going on with Davis Webb. I really did like Davis Webb as a prospect last year. So maybe, Pat Shurmur thinks that's the guy. And if that's the case, then by all means, go Saquon Barkley and then just build the offensive lineup. But where a lot of people do think that it's going to go Darnold, Rosen, 1 and 2, some order of that, I can see him surprising everyone and just going, hey, we're going running back. Thanks, everybody. And finishing up with the number 1 surprise pick is the New England Patriots. And they could select quarterback at pick 31. You look at every mock draft right now, it's kind of like no one wants to say they can go quarterback. They're trying to put in maybe best player available that's still there, or, typical Patriot fashion, they trade down. They could go quarterback. If anyone slips, be it Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, don't think Lamar Jackson. I think more so looking at Allen and Mayfield, or say Mason Rudolph, who should be there, would have to slip. Necessarily might be a little bit of a reach. It's not the Patriot motto to really reach in the draft. They could get the guy that sits behind Tom Brady, which is not a bad decision. I have a gut feeling that they might want to try to get McCarron. I don't know why, particularly maybe just because, the whole Bill Belichick likes Alabama players and stuff like that. Get McCarron to kind of sit behind Brady and then similar Garoppolo kind of move. I don't know if you'd sign on for that. But they could go quarterback. They could literally get anyone that slips or kind of reach for Mason Rudolph to get that guy. Maybe the potential successor. Obviously, if you invest a first-round pick here for Tom Brady. So there you go, guys. Those are my 10 surprise picks for the upcoming NFL draft. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below if you have any surprise picks or you agree or disagree. As always, it's your first time stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Plenty of draft content is underway. March is draft season, baby. So subscribe if you're new. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.